Milano to the serene lakes in the shadow of the Alps, and of course, the all-important racing scene. Just outside the mesmerizing city of Milano lies the Franciacorta circuit. Regarded as one of the favorites in modern karting history, the track officially opened in 2021. It's one of the newest circuits on the calendar, and, well, it has certainly played host to many exciting drivers over the course of the weekend. The track itself, though, a little bit more in depth after we saw Luna Flusha take the fastest time in time qualifying and setting the event record as well. But the circuit itself, 1,300 meters. It's 160 meters down the main start-finish straight. It's 180 meters down the long back straight into the penultimate corner of turn 13 out there. It does go uphill into that one. 5 meters of elevation change. The track widening between 5.5 to 7.5, to 11 meters wide around some parts of the circuit. It is certainly a fantastic venue to go racing at for the last round of the European stage of the championship. 14 turns in total as they negotiate their way round the 1,300 meter circuit. 9 turns to the right, 5 to the left, plus the 2 hairpins out there. Main overtaking opportunities in towards turns 2 and 3. You see it in towards turn 5, which is the lowest part of the circuit, and in towards turn 9 as well, and of course turn 13, the final stage of the track as well out there. Top speed, drivers reaching around 125 kilometers an hour into the braking zone of turn number 2, with an average speed of around 84 kilometers an hour around the lap, meaning it is a fast and demanding circuit for our drivers. For some of them, it is their first time racing here. For many, they have had several laps around this circuit in anger, but for quite a few of them, this will be the first time that we see the Champions of the Future Academy program racing in battle here at the circuit. Myself, Anthony Jordan, I'll be your commentators throughout the entirety of this weekend. Of course, Saturday and Sunday, 2 identical days, but 2 different days in terms of points. Time qualifying over the course of this morning will have set the grids that you see for the races that are coming up very soon, and of course the all-important finals later on today. There is a look at some of the marshals out there, the hard-working marshals. We could not go racing without the Orange Army out on circuit. We do say thank you very much to them every time we come to a different racetrack. But the first race is coming up very soon, and we are kick-starting with the OKN Junior category. Qualifying Heat 1. Only the 8 laps, 10.5 kilometer race distance, but certainly it's going to be an exciting one. There you can see the various areas surrounding the circuit being filled up with drivers getting ready to watch along these races. But in the junior category, there you can see it on pole position. James Anagnosiadis, championship leader, who is on pole position. We caught up with him after time qualifying. Saturday's time qualifying for the OKN Junior category here for the Champions of the Future Academy program. James Anagnosiadis, championship leader from Australia, fastest in time qualifying. That was an interesting session, though. That red flag certainly made it a little bit tense for you.
Yeah, the red flag was not really what I wanted. I mean, it kind of worked out in our favour because my position before it was not so good. But yeah, and then only just got 2 laps to do a lap, and yeah, we managed to do it.
This is the last stage of the European part of the weekend or the season. We go into the Middle East next. Are you looking forward to that next half of the season, or are you just going to stay focused on right here, right now in Franciacorta?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, last year that's where I won, and but right now I've got to stay focused on here and got a lot more races after this one. So yeah, more staying focused on this, but I'm pretty excited for it.
Well, congratulations. Let's see what you can do today on Saturday. Of course, you've got another qualifying tomorrow on Sunday for the rest of the qualifying heats. But congratulations for today, and we'll see you out there in those races.
Thank you.
Great to chat there to James Anagnosiadis, like we were mentioning earlier on, current championship leader as well with 251 championship points. Only winning 1 of the finals at the moment. That was the first final that we saw in Valencia. In the junior category, there has been 4 different final winners. We have not had a consistent driver. Kasper Reipold took the first win in Cremona. Then it was Ella Hakkinen taking the second win. James Anagnosiadis winning the first in Valencia, and then Toby Gale winning the second in Valencia. Right, well, we're seeing a kart not starting there. That is Victoria Farfus, and unfortunately, well, Well, that's not gone well. That'll be, well, the mechanic going straight over the white line there. That's going to be a driver in a lot of trouble. Right, there's a look at the grid. Let's take you through it. James Anagnostiadis on pole position in this one. Again, another superb start to another weekend in the championship. Mateusz Witwer, second fastest. Sofia Pavasniaya, third fastest, and starting on the second row of the grid, her best time qualifying of the season. Connor Clancy joining alongside. Victoria Farfus, who we just saw there struggling to get away, will be starting on the third row of the grid. We'll have Dinia Islamov starting alongside. Leonas Peruzzi from Angelina Simmons on row 4. Then it's Flavia Carrier from Sujana Dandu on the fifth row of the grid, rounding out the top 10. That is her best qualifying of the season. Egon Prototti from Xavier Dudkovsky rounding out row number 6. Then it's William Marshall and Pazzuto on row 7. Casper Reipold and Vanessa Schilkenate, eighth row of the grid. Nilis Malik and Vera Yulen round out row number 9 from Marcel Capella and Sanjana Dandu on row 10. Then it's Sadamat Soy and Isaac Say on row 11. Zachara Dole and Amru Adedinson round out row 12 from Christian Ebras and Ella Hakkinen on row 13. Then it's Case Aziza ahead of Michaela Hart on row 14 with Corrine Kaur and Jan Michalesco rounding out the top 30 on row 15. Great to see Jan back after unfortunately suffering a broken arm in Cremona. Toby Gale and Axel Nocom round out row number 16. They'll have Emilia Wiszomirska and Oscar Gallin on row 17. Then it's Konstantin Paps and Clelia Sodu rounding out the 36-car field. Clelia Sodu, again, new driver in the class, racing for the first time this weekend in the OKN Junior category. Drivers making their way to the red line on circuit. There it is, going past your screen. Now, from this point onwards, they should already be in 2x2 rolling start formation. At the moment, as you can see, they're getting there. But there seems to be a little bit of confusion with who should be on what side of the grid, but it looks a little better now as the drivers make their way into the final corner and into the tram lines. It's the first race of the weekend, and it is green light and racing. Great start from Anagnostiadis, who holds onto that inside row. Pavasniaya and Farfus follow in tow as they make their way through turn number 2 and 3. You can see there they go 3-4 wide. Through that section there, it closes into the pinch point of turn number 4 as they make their way down into the lowest part of the circuit here. They then start to climb uphill as Victoria Farfus looks to the inside there for P2 through turn number 6, and it's all gone wrong here. 3 drivers off, and it's in the form of Vera Yuland, Sanjana Dandu and Case Aziza. Unfortunately, all out of the race. They will get the attempt to get it restarted, but they only get the 1 attempt for that one. Down into the hairpin then. At the end of this first lap, big send down the inside, and that is a change there. Victoria Farfus up into P2. There's that same incident we saw earlier on. Marshall's quickly on the scene to clear that. And like we were saying, Victoria Farfus up to P2. That's a gain of 3 places. But remember, Victoria Farfus' mechanic there pushed her over the cutoff line. So that will put Victoria Farfus in a big danger, and I'm seeing investigation flag coming out on the DigiFlag on circuit of an investigation for Victoria Farfus in that number 14. But currently sitting there in P2 is looking strong in this race, but Pavasniaya is still there as well. This is absolutely superb from Sofia Pavasniaya, who's fighting away there in P3. Farfus to the lead, sails past James Anagnostiadis, no drama there whatsoever, and takes the lead of this race. Unfortunately, the penalty for going over that white line is quite severe, and I don't even think a 5-second lead will help out Victoria Farfus here, but nevertheless, this is her best racing performance we have seen from her so far this season. Leading the way on lap number 3 here, it's Farfus from Anagnostiadis. Witwer now into 3rd place. Pavasniaya down to 4th, and it's Clancy, Islamov, Simmons, then it's Peruzzi, Pedrotti, and Carrier, who rounds out the top 10 at the moment. But this is good stuff here. Mateusz Witwer, you can see him there in 3rd place. Look, he's G'ing the car along there. The number 18 is really pushing. We go up into the hairpin of turn 14, and again, some around not close enough for the lunges. You can really brake late into that hairpin. It's uphill into the braking zone. You see a lot of drivers absolutely send it down, and again we're gonna see a change for the lead here. Yes, we are. Down the inside, James Anagnostiadis gets through, and so does Mateusz Witwer up into 2nd place. And now Farfus down to 3rd. She'll have the close company of Pavasniaya, and that's heavy damage there, unfortunately, and that is Zachariah Dole. And there's another driver off as well. That's Axel Nocom. Axel Nocom in the barriers with the likes of Zachariah Dole, and unfortunately, both of them out of this race. And, well, they were battling with each other out on circuit, and I suspect there might not be a friendly conversation there. Again, back with the lead. It's all switching round again once more. Vitva to the lead. Farfus goes through into second place now. Anagnosiadis down to third. Side by side across the start-finish line. It's wheel-to-wheel racing. And Anagnosiadis gets back up into second place. This closes in the pack. Pavasniaya still there in P4, is under pressure as Anagnosiadis again goes for the move down the inside. So does Farfus. She goes through into second place. Connor Clancy has closed into this battle as well as Islamov. Pavasniaya has gone down, battling away with Simmons Torres at the moment for P7. Pedrotti and Peruzzi still there as well. Reipold now into the top 10. But now Anagnosiadis and Farfus, they've closed in now. They're starting to break away just that little bit from the drivers behind. So now they can start to focus here, see if they can open up a little bit of a gap. But are we going to see these two continue to battle? Because there was a little bit feisty there into the hairpin, and the pace that we're seeing from Connor Clancy here right now, there in third place, is looking mighty strong. Farfus looked to the inside there. The gap had opened up. Anagnosiadis had opened the gap, but not close enough for the move. Here's Clancy down the inside, second place, and says thank you very much and moves up. Farfus now on the back foot as Ella Hakkinen sets the fastest lap of the race, 49.508. That is a superb time. She's fighting her way through the field at the moment, up 7 places currently just inside the top 20 in P19. Eyes still focused on this lead battle as we're on lap 6 of 8. To the inside, Farfus tries to get the move on Clancy. It's denied, and now Vitva gets through on the outside. Now Islamov might have a chance to get the move done here as Victoria Farfus is under immense pressure right now. Little sideways there into the braking zone of turn number 2. She holds on to it though. This is nice car control from all of these drivers in this top section right now. Brilliant switch back there from Vitva. Gets wheel to wheel now with Clancy, but the track there just playing into the advantage of Connor Clancy, and now Farfus gets back through into third place. And again, controlled drive. But Anagnosiadis now, he's clear, he's calm. He's up 0.7 of a second and looking strong at the moment. He's not having to take a defensive line right here as, well, Connor Clancy is going to have to take a defensive line and denies Farfus a way of getting through. So she will have to stay there in third place as they come back over the start-finish line. A look further down the field, some of the biggest movers out there. Toby Gale, after not a great qualifying, certainly making his position well known. He's up 16 places into P15. We saw a very similar story for Gale in Cremona as well in Italy in the first round of the championship. Certainly going to have to fight back fierce in this one. This is the replay and radio.
Number 1-4 over the white line on start.
Yep, confirmation there. 1-4 being Victoria Farfus as off the track there goes the 27, and that is Dinia Islamov. Unfortunately, Islamov, who had gained so many places and was fighting up at that sharp end, now tumbles down the order. James Anagnosiadis, though, across the line. He will see the first checkered flag in a qualifying heat this weekend at Franciacorta, and he will be absolutely delighted with that result. Clancy finishes in second place. Victoria Farfus, that's her best result on track. Unfortunately, I think that radio message that we just heard there at the end, pushing over the white line, will tumble Victoria Farfus down the order, which is a big, big shame. And, well, that will promote Matej Vitva, Sofia Pavasniaya. It will promote Pedrotti, Peruzzi, Reipold, and Pizzuto as well. Dinia Islamov crosses the line in P10. Saramatsui in 11th. They will, of course, go up a position as well. So Saramatsui will round out the top 10 post-race. And, of course, everything I say there, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is provisional with a capital P. So do take that with a pinch of salt. But James Anagnosiadis, current championship leader, looking very strong in his first qualifying heat of the weekend. Well, as drivers make their way back in towards Parc Ferme, of course, they will get weighed up and they'll head to scrutineering, of course, so nothing is signed, sealed and done just yet, as now the drivers make their way back into that one. A little bit of a clean-up operation will be happening on circuit. Many drivers are out of that race. Here's a look at the full classification at the end of that one. It's Anagnosiadis from Conor Clancy, Victoria Farfus in third ahead of Vitva. Then it's Pavaznaya from Peruzzi from Raipold, Pazzuto from Islamov, Matsui from Gale, Simmons from Dudkovsky, and Marshall, who rounds out the top 15. Flavio Caria from Ella Hakkinen in 16th and 17th from Nilis Malik. Then it's Sujana Dandu from Jan Michalescu in the top 20. Oscar Gallin from Emilia Vishamirska. From Marcel Cavella, then it's Konstantin Paps from Christian Ebras, Corinne Kaur from Clelia Sodu, who rounds out the next two drivers out on the field. Then it's Amanu Adriansen, Michaela Hart, who rounds out the 29 finishers in that race. Unfortunately, Isaac Say retiring from the race, which is unfortunate. Axel Nocom, a retirement. Zachariah Dole, Vera Yuland and Sanjana Dandu, Case Aziza all retiring. That was on the opening lap of the race. And Vanessa Shilkanate, unfortunately, not starting the race. But the top three, though, absolutely delighted with their results. Anagnosiadis, Clancy and Victoria Farfus. But I suspect Farfus's third place there might be slightly affected. There is James Anagnosiadis on your screen. The Australian pole in qualifying and a first qualifying heat win. Certainly a good start to the weekend. Let's have a look at the highlights on that one. There's the first moment. Unfortunately, the engine just not kick-starting there for Victoria Farfus, and resulting in the mechanic crossing over the white line on the exit of the pit lane, which does result in a penalty. There, the race start, though. Great start for the inside line. Anagnosiadis, Pavaznia and Farfus. And the start there for Victoria Farfus as well. Certainly a very strong one. You can see her there in third place in the early stages of that one. Literally getting up to second place in the opening lap as well. There it was down the inside, just wheel to wheel there with Pavaznia. No quarter given between the two of them. We did see the moment on the opening lap as well in towards turn number 4 and 5, where unfortunately we did lose a handful of drivers. There was that moment there. Kate Caesar, Sanjana Dandu and Vera Yuland, unfortunately all out of the race on the opening lap. Changes came thick and fast in the first couple of laps as well. That was the signed sealed move there for Farfus. Down the inside, then later would get the job done, moving up into the race lead. So certainly a very, very strong performance in the start of the weekend. And that brought in Mateusz Witwer, who finished in P4 in that race as well, certainly gaining good moves. Anagnosiadis, though, fighting back in the later stages of the race onto lap number 4. Again, the two giving no quarter to each other. Witwer was able to get through as well. That allowed everyone behind to close in. Pavaznia, Pedrotti, Peruzzi, Raipold, and as well as Dinia Islamov, who was unfortunately had drama being squeezed off the circuit. That was the two retirements there on your screen of Zachariah Dole and Axel Nocom, unfortunately out of the race in the latter stages of the race as well. Once again, another change for the lead, and this would be, I think, the signed sealed move done for Anagnosiadis, getting into the lead at that point and kind of breaking away there. No one else able to latch on to the back. Victoria Farfus would be there in second place, then would get caught up by Conor Clancy with a gain of 2 places to finish in P2. Certainly had to deal with Farfus trying to fight back on that one. A little bit of contact between the two of them there in towards the hairpin of turn 4. That gave the leg room there to Witwer to get back down the inside in towards the final corner. That dramatic moment there, unfortunately, where the likes of Dinia Islamov getting squeezed off the circuit, not what he would have wanted in that race, and of course another one going off the track. But for the first race of the day, it would be James Anagnosiadis taking the win, adding to his points tally here. Again, the championship leader looking strong and looking to see whether or not he can take maximum 25 championship points at the end of the qualifying heats phase. Well, the next race coming up very soon in around 5 minutes' time. Qualifying Heat 2 for the mini category coming out soon. That is due to kickstart at 20 to 12 local time. Then we head to the seniors for their first qualifying heat, and then it gets repeated again, their second round of qualifying heats. After that, we go into the lunch break. After that, then, it's all the all-important finals. For anyone watching on YouTube, your stream will end. You will have a brand new broadcast for the finals later on today. That'll be the same, of course, tomorrow as well. If you're watching on any other social platform, your stream will be uninterrupted. It is only the YouTube broadcast that will end after the qualifying heats phase. Well, there you can see the recovery truck just making its way around the circuit again after, well, a lengthy cleanup operation there. So many drivers, unfortunately, being retired from that race. But there you can see Mini 60 qualifying heat 1 now about to head out to the circuit. 7 laps for this one, slightly less race distance. 9-kilometer race distance in total for the Mini 60 category heading out to the circuit. And at the moment in this one, it is Priam Bruno who leads the championship standings in the category, winning 2 out of the 4 finals in the season so far. Albert Tam has also won a final, the same as Alessandro Truchot. But this young man here, Werner Guth from Germany, his first pole position this weekend. There's a look at his results over the course of this season. His best result being a P11 in the final at Valencia in Spain. So with a pole position here on Saturday, that's certainly looking to improve over the course of this one. We caught up with him after time qualifying. Time qualifying on Saturday here at Franciacorta for the Champions of the Future Academy program. And in the Mini 60, Werner Guth from Germany, your first ever pole position in this class. Congratulations. How are you feeling? Nice big smile on your face.
Yeah, I'm very happy because this is my first time being pole position. But just in Cremona, I was P4, but I was never P1. So I'm very happy with it.
Excellent. What does that mean for today then? Is it going to be a good day all around? Do you reckon that pace can carry on in the races?
Yeah, and carry on right now. So I'm trying my best to be still in pole position this heat today. And today is going to be a good day for me.
Well, let's hope so. Fingers crossed. Congratulations. Well done. We'll see you out there in the races today.
Thank you.
Well, great to chat there to Werner Guth. Like we say, first pole position and starts this one right at the front of the order, and we look forward to seeing what will happen in this race. Starting alongside, though, Blażej Kostreva, you can see from Poland, again, another driver who's looking good in the championship at the moment, currently P7 in the championship standings. So, again, is a driver that we do need to keep an eye on over the course of today, but let's see what is going to happen, because again we've got a lot of racing coming up today. We just don't know who's going to take it. There is Blażej's results just there on your screen. P6, best result over the weekend, and again starting on the front row here certainly could help things out just that little bit. So we'll see what happens. Maxim Bobajov, you can see there, just still outside of his kart, standing up, looking well, quietly confident, I would say, for Maxim Bobajov. Again, another very talented driver, starting this one on the second row of the grid. Currently sits third in the championship as well. Best result in the finals. Second place has been eluded that first final win. But again, it's just a matter of watching and waiting. And right now, with that second row start in this set of the qualifying heats phase, he's in a really good, strong position for this one. So we'll keep a very close eye on this race. We'll have Marc-Martin Lormet starting alongside as well. You can see the 853 just taking his seats. The driver from Estonia, first time racing in this series. Great to see him on board, but of course is an experienced pilot around the Franciacorta circuit and has put in a superb time in time qualifying. There you can see the DNF has not taken part in Cremona or Valencia, so this is first round in the championship for Marc-Martin Lormet on that parallel opportunity chassis. Of course, everyone on the same chassis in this category, as well as the juniors and seniors. That's what makes this Champions of the Future Academy program a championship like no other. Of course, all the equipment provided by the title sponsors here. Parallel providing the chassis for the minis. Kart Republic providing the chassis for the juniors and the seniors. Well, engines fire up, drivers make their way out onto the circuit. Let's quickly fire you through the starting lineup for the first qualifying heat phase for the Mini 60 category. It's Werner Guth and Blažej Kostreva on row 1 with Maxim Bobajov and Marc-Martin Lormetz on row 2. Juan Garciase and Alejandro Tuccio round out row number 3. Lorenzo Zucchetto and Jay Kostecki round out row 4. And then it's Augustin Falagoni and Albert Tam on row 5, with Lorenzo Valau from Portugal joining from Xu on row 6. Then it's Nicolo Perico and Achilles Peruzzi on row 7. They'll have Ava Lawrence and Alexander Shilo on row 8. Antonio Irani and Oscar Hennock round out row number 9. They'll have Sebastian Kurz and Ari Kallenberg on row 10. Ari Kallenberg's first appearance in the category. Jan Gozielik and Giovanni Tazzani Jr. round out row 11. Again, Giovanni's first time out in the category. We'll have Priam Bruno and Sophie Guth on row 12. Priam Bruno, current championship leader, 23rd in time qualifying. Vincente Capella and Luca Mazzoli go from row 13. They'll have Henry King from the United Kingdom and Lucas Palacio on row 14. Henry King's first appearance racing out in mainland Europe, so qualifying 27th. Relatively decent start to his weekend. Ellis Willier and Ray Haber round out row 15 ahead of Theodore Constantinou and Mannix Mason. Then it's Aaron Mason and Lena Salamanca who round out row 17 and the 34-kart field. Drivers making their way round the circuits, and right now everyone just trying to focus on what could be a very interesting first qualifying heat. Now, the Mini 60 did have a little bit of drama in their free practice sessions yesterday. They got caught by our race director, the eagle-eyed race director, Martin Bean, spotted them going, bunching up and going a little bit slow in a free practice. Unfortunately, that session was stopped, and drivers told not to do that. This time around, the start looks good at the front here. Back of the field is not formed up at all. We are getting a false start. They are going round again, so the front a little eager to get away. Back of the grid not going there. Quick shot of our race director Martin Bean, confirmation of that false start. So it does send the drivers round one more time. While we wait for that one, again, reminder of those championship standings. Priam Bruno, who starts this one well down the order, did not have a good time qualifying on this one. This will give the likes of Albert Tam a good chance to really gain positions in this one. Albert Tam, who starts this one P10, still not the best qualifying, but is much higher up in the order ahead of the likes of Priam Bruno. Maxim Bobajov is in a really strong position here, is around 64 points behind Priam Bruno in the championship standings at the moment, but starting on the second row of the field will certainly make these qualifying heats very vital for the driver from the United Arab Emirates. Well, the field once again lines themselves up. This time it looks a lot better. The rest of the field slotting in behind. One driver at the back of the field, though, very slow to get away, and I think actually stalled his kart. Front of the grid, though, looks good, and the lights go green. We are racing, and it's a good getaway for Werner Guth, who holds on to the lead as they go down in towards turn number 2. Remember, a win here would be a best result for Werner Guth for Germany out of this entire season. He is hoping he can hold on to that lead as this race goes on. Change there as drama kicks off in the background, and 3 karts off the track. Now, who's gone off the track there? I think Jay Kostecki is one of them. Lorenzo Villau could be another. Alexander Shilo, I think, is one. And Sophie Guth, sister of current pole sitter Werner Guth, could be also out of this race. But I believe they've all managed to get restarted now, which is good. Luckily for these drivers, it is a push start. It's a push-button start on these karts, so they can just get it fired up themselves without having to get out of the kart themselves. So good to see that they're all back in this race. The drivers across the line, it is still Werner Guth who leads the way, but has the close company now of the 2 behind. Bobajov and Lormetz make their way through. Marc-Martin Lormetz now up into 2nd place. Guth down to 3rd. Not over yet, still part of the pack here as well. Marc-Martin Lormetz is going to go for the lead. Guth back down the inside, claims 2nd place back from Maxim Bobajov, who slots down to 3rd. It's all kicking off there in P4. though. Truchot, Gauthier and Tam battling away as well. So we've got 2 groups of 3 here, and it is definitely all kicking off there. One driver certainly not getting away well there. Who was that? Was it Gauthier? No, it was Truchot. I think Alejandro Truchot dropping down the order as well. Unfortunately, it's the 849. Sheikh Hufei, unfortunately, also tumbling down the order. Once again, change here. It's Lomets who leads the way. Bobajov is back up into second place. Verneguth there in third, and closely followed by Juan Gauthier, who is trying to latch on to these trios up ahead. There you can see communication from Verneguth. He's got back pass, so has Bobajov, saying, come on, let's work together. Let's not fight, because if they fight now, which, well, Lomets trying to go down the inside there at the exit of turn number 5 and 6. Just trying to squeeze his way through. That brings in Juan Gauthier, so it is now a 4-car battle as through they go, and Verneguth now down to P4, but is still in this train. They are still in close contention as they make their way down in the back straight, the 180-meter back straight into the hairpin. Any changes for the lead? The answer to that is no. They stay line astern, and it is still Bobajov who leads the way from Marc-Martin Lomets. Gauthier in third, Verneguth in fourth. Truchot is P5 from Perico Velagoni from Kostreva. Tam from Zucchetto, who rounds out the top 10. They're pushing their way through. Some of the biggest movers out on circuit. Priyan Bruno, understandably, championship leader, up 11 places, is into P11 now. Make that 12 places gained. Vincente Capella, 13 places gained. Henry King has gained 13 places as well. Changes once again at the front. Bobajov down to fourth. The train of Lomets, Gauthier and Guth all make their way through, and they change the top 4 once more. Truchot is starting to close in as well. The gap for P5 is starting to reel in. Down into the hairpin of turn 14, and again, no changes. Lomets exit though, very strong, very controlled, as he maintains control of this race. Back over the start-finish line they go. Going to lap 5, and a big late lunge there for Juan Gauthier, the Mexican, taking the lead of this race for the first time, and you can see what it means to him. Pushes himself forward, head ducks down behind the steering wheel. He is looking very strong out there, and the exit that he got out of turn 4 and 5 there, very, very strong. As again, the train on the inside though is going to kick in, and now this is looking like a 10-car battle for the lead here. And unfortunately for Juan Gauthier, he's going to tumble down the order here, because he just gets denied the chance of slotting back in. It is now Marc-Martin Lomets who leads the way. Verneguth there in second place, has closed back in. It's all kicking off in the background. Truchot's up to third. Bobajov has tumbled down the order a little bit there as well. Perico and Tam have gained positions now. Bobajov down to P6. Guth to the outside as they go through turn number 2. It didn't work out because Truchot thought the inside line was faster, and unfortunately Verneguth goes down to P3, but contact between the top 2, and off the track goes Marc-Martin Lomets, and the car has stalled. It's not going any further. He's trying to egg it along there at the exit, but it now gets going again. It kicks back into life, and the race leader tumbles to the back of the grid. Now it is Truchot who leads the way. No, it's Perico who leads the way. The 840 has slid his way through. Albert Tam there in second place, but these two now going wheel to wheel. Verneguth still there in third place, is going to look to the inside now. Goes to the inside of Perico, but can't get the exit. They exit out of turn 15. Back over the start-finish straight they go. It is still Albert Tam from Perico, from Guth. Bobajov there in P4. But again, this is the result here. Big dive down the inside for Perico. He gets through. Guth down to P4. The pole sitter is still in this fight, but through goes the likes of Bobajov, who's back up into P2. Changing again for third. Guth back through with a brilliant switchback and has not lost out on any time between the two up ahead. Perico from Bobajov. They go through, but again, hugging the inside line. Does Perico, denies anyone down that inside line as they go to the highest part of the track. They then sweep downhill through the second sector into the third sector. Now we come into the infamous turn 14. Who's going to come out on top here as they all go through? Good to the inside. There's contact though, and he tumbles down the order, and clear is Perico. Nicolo Perico crosses the line, and that is, I believe, his first qualifying heat win of this season. A superb performance across the line. He'll be absolutely delighted with that one. Albert Tam will finish in second. Bobrajov holds on to third. Capella in fourth. Kostreva in P5. Felagoni in sixth. Palacio from Brian Bruno. Werner Guth at the end of that one finishes P9. Still a very good result, but that last-ditch attempt into the hairpin just didn't work out for the pole sitter. Unfortunately, tumbling down the order, but for here, Nicolo Perico, an absolutely superb result. They are the final results you can see there. P4 in the finals, and certainly very strong performance in the season so far. But there, Nicolo Perico takes the win ahead of Albert Tam and Maxim Bobrajov. Remember, Albert Tam and Bobrajov are up there in the championship. They are battling away with the likes of Priyan Bruno, who finished that one in P8. Still a solid performance there for Priyan Bruno. We'll go through the full order as well for Nicolo Perico. 12 places gained for Nicolo Perico in that one, and one of the under 10 drivers out there as well. Certainly pushing his way through the order. We'll have a look at the full classifications in a few moments' time, though, but there on your screen, what a performance there for Nicolo Perico. Firm handshakes there on the barrel and opportunity chassis, but certainly a brilliant, strong performance there. 12 places gained to finish in the top spot. Exactly what he needed. Albert Tam gaining 8 places then, finishing in P2. Bobrajov not gaining or losing any places, but certainly a very tough fight there to finish in P3 ahead of Vicente Capella, who gained 21 places to finish in P4. Blazej Kostreva finishes in P5 ahead of Augustin Felagoni, finishing in P6. Lucas Palacio, 21 places gained as well, finishes in P7. Brian Bruno gaining 15 places, finishes in P8. That's a superb drive as well, championship leader after not a great qualifying. Werner Guth finishes in P9, still a top 10 finish, but again, Werner Guth will see back on pole position later on today. Lorenzo Zucchetto rounds out the top 10, ahead of Xi Huifei, rounding out P11. Juan Garciase ahead of Henry King with a gain of 14 places, finishes in P13, ahead of Antonio Ianni, finishing in P14, and Achilles Peruzzi rounding out the top 15. The highlights from that race, though, well, there were many, with drivers at the back of the field there struggling to get away. We did see them later on in the race just push their way through the field and gain really strong places. The start, though, certainly went the way of Werner Guth, breaking away at the beginning of that one. Drama then ensued further back, with some drivers very dramatically going off the circuit there. Not what you want to see at all. I think for the likes of that one, we saw Truchot go off the circuit. Sophie Guff, I think, was another. Jan Gardzielek, Oscar Shilo as well, off the circuit there. There were 2 retirements, though. Aaron Mason retiring from the race, and the same for Jay Kostecki, unfortunately, also both retiring from that race. The top 3, though, in the early stages, well, chopping and changing all the way throughout, brought in everyone else in the field, which is why we saw those position gains in the early stages. Bobrajov, Werner Guth, and the 853 as well of Juan Garciase, all battling away in the early stages of that race. Juan Garciase, unfortunately, in that one, dropping down to P12 in the latter stages of that race. Of course, that was before the fact they were battling away with Marc Martin Lormetz. Lormetz, though, what can we say about him? His first appearance in the class in the championship, and was leading the way in the qualifying heat here. Drama would strike later on, though. A failed overtake would result in Marc Martin Lormetz unfortunately going wide at turn number 5. Certainly would make it interesting. This was down into towards turn 2 again. Positions changing here, thick and fast. Back down the inside for Juan Garciate. This one here, though, and again, the train coming through. We saw this time in, time out in this race. And this is unfortunately for Juan Garciate. He tumbled down the order, wasn't able to get his car back into the train. That happens in the Mini 60 category. You lose one, you lose several more places in that race. And like I say, that brought in the whole field here. Martin Lormetz then still led the way on lap number 6, the penultimate lap of the race. But like we say here, all went P-Tong, unfortunately, down the inside. That little bit of contact there. Lormetz unaware that down the inside went the likes of the 814 there, and just unfortunately tumbling it down at the order. That kart just, yeah, not getting away, and it was Alessandro Truchot, unfortunately, that contact with, tumbling right to 32nd place at the end of that race. Then on the penultimate lap, it all kicked off. We saw these battles, how close they were between the drivers. Nicolo Perico with the gain of 12 places. Albert Tam as well, managing to push their way through the different racing lines here. 3 wide in towards turn 2. Bob Brajov getting back up into 2nd place. It'll kick off, though. It will have to wait until that final corner. It was white line fever from this point on. Perico just hugging that inside line. This was down in towards turn 14. You can see Perico right on that inside line. Bobajov then tried to sweep back to the inside. Unfortunately, Bernaguth was there, which did result in contact, more contact on the exit. Look at that. They were 4 wide going into the final corner on the final lap. It did give the win, though, to Nicolo Perico. 21 places gained. Absolutely delighted with that one. Albert Tam finishing in 2nd, from Maxim Bobajov finishing in 3rd place, just holding on to that one. Well, the seniors coming up next. Their qualifying heat 1, 11 laps, the longest races we will see at this point of the weekend, of course, until we head into those finals later on today. But again, the longest race distance we will see. And again, in this one, Luna Flusha, pole position in timed qualifying. Well, there you can see on your screen the artwork there from Anastasia Gerasis. There, unfortunately, well, putting their karting for life, a lot of the love hearts there. And there we go, the nice graffiti on the Vega tyres there. I'm sure not covering the Vega logo, but certainly some very artistic nature there from Anastasia, who starts this one a little further back on the grid, but still a very strong performance so far this season. Well, great to see that one. She starts this one P26. Well, reminder of the championship standings at the moment before we head into this one. Luna Flusha, current pole sitter in this one, is your current championship leader. There she is on your screen. 3 final wins out of 3. Has only lost out to Marcus Shilkunas in the championship at the moment, finishing 2nd in Valencia in Spain in the 2nd qualifying heat. That would be on Sunday. The final on Saturday was a race win, but we did catch up with her after time qualifying. Here's what she had to say. Saturday's qualifying for the senior OKN category, Luna Flusha. 3 final wins you've had out of 4, and this is another pole position for you. This is exactly what you want for the final round of the European stage. How are you feeling after that session?
Well, obviously I'm feeling great after 3 finals won, and the pace is there and the rhythm, so I can't wait to start the heats and the final this afternoon.
Yeah. It's pretty hot today. Temperatures really gaining out there. It's going to be about 34 degrees today. You're going to be able to manage that? You're looking forward to hopefully having a good set of races?
Yeah, thankfully where I live it's very hot, so I'm quite used to it. So hopefully I'll be fine, but still it would be hard, but I can't wait.
Well, this is going to be a fantastic weekend, and like you say, maybe some more final wins to add to your tally of 3 so far this season. Well, congratulations. We'll see you out there in the qualifying heats.
Thank you very much.
Well, great to chat there to Luna Flusha at the end of that one, though. Has got the close company of Hugo Ron starting alongside. Sebastian Corpeng and Ella Huatama starting on the 2nd row of the grid. That is her best qualifying results of the season as well for Hugo Heron as well. Really good results also out there. Whistle blows, engine fires up. Let's take you through the full starting lineup for the first OKN senior race of the weekend. It is Spain's Luna Flusha and current championship leader starting on pole position. Hugo Heron starts alongside. We'll have Sebastian Corpen and Ella Latamar alongside. Wojciech Woda and George Nassar rounds out row number 3. Then it's Jakub Mikulev and Maximilian Rafalek on row 4. Philippe Carres and Pip Casabene round out row 5. We'll have Jean Carres and Hamza Al-Fayez on row 6. Marcus Shilkunis and Austin Gale go from row 7. Charles Lambert from Gianna Pascal round out row number 8. It's Gianna's first time here. Gazi Motlaka and Sofia Sanfari finishing in the 9th row of the grid. Peyton Westcott and Elizaveta Kozlova round out row number 10 in the top 20. They'll have Charlotte Page and Franciszek Zielecki rounding out row 11. Brix Trevino and Alessandro Biggi round out row 12. They'll have Bernardo Minoldi and Anastasia Genesis on row 13. Rahim Alabai and Yana Kapoor round out row number 14, giving us an All-American row 14. Adam Sador and Isaac de Melwyk go from row 15, rounding out the top 30. Casper Bonda and Charles Troxler round out row 16. Then it's Truly Adams and Romeo Nassar on row 17. 34 karts in this category. Drivers making their way round the circuit. And again, reminder for this one, the Champions of the Future Academy program, a 6-round championship this season. We've already had 2 rounds in Europe. This is the 3rd and final round of the European stage. We do head to the Middle East, to the likes of Dubai. We head to Alain and, of course, Alpha San to round out the championship. Certainly going to be a very interesting season here, with 3 new circuits for some of these drivers, but some may be familiar with the Alpha San circuit. Drivers are lined up. Are we going first time of asking? The answer to that is yes. We are green and racing down in towards turn 1. Great start again for Flusha. Corpeng sliding into 2nd place. Hugo Heron has to settle there for 3rd place as off the track, unfortunately tumbling down the order. Couldn't quite see the cart number as they made their way through. We'll try and find out who that is. The 232 off the track, that is Brix Trevino, unfortunately out of this race as he's going to try and get that one restarted. Certainly not the start he would have wanted. Back at the front here though, Flusha leads the way and is looking confident here right now. And confirmation there, Brix Trevino unfortunately out of this first qualifying heat of the weekend. We'll get a 2nd attempt later on today. And unfortunately will make his way into Marshall Post 2 out on circuit. Across the line they go. It's Flusha, Corpen, Woda, Heron and Mikulev, the top 3. Woda to the inside, denied the chance of getting through, and now is under pressure from Hugo Heron, who's trying to push his way back past. He's not able to find his way through. That allows the likes of Jakub Mikulev, Ella Latamar to get back up through. We go on board with Ella Latamar, who is there currently battling in P5, has only dropped down 1 spot in this race, is in the tow of Hugo Heron. They're going downhill now through the likes of turn 11, 12, in towards turn 13, then climbs back uphill here now, the long stretch down the 180 meter straight. Now they're coming into yellow flags there, into the final hairpin, and there you can see there are karts off the track there on the exit. And, well, I think they could be, well, is that, I think that's Rahim Alabai. Unfortunately, the American in his first appearance here this weekend, I believe is out of the race. And I think also the Australian Charlotte Page, one of the Discover Your Drive initiative drivers, out of this race as well, unfortunately in P32. It's all kicking off here though. Wojciech Woda and Hugo Heron battling away as they try to hold on to position here. Sofia Sanfari now with the fastest lap of the race. Starting to push her way through. She is currently 18th. She's not gained or lost any positions at the moment. Still in a really strong position here, though. Back down into the final corner, and actually we have gone red flag. So the red flag has gone out on circuit. So not sure as to the reason why. We have seen drivers going off the track into the final chicane, but we've seen those drivers standing up and okay. Only one other driver has tumbled down the order, but that was the 246 of Hamza Al-Fayez, but we're unsure of who the driver involved is. But as you can see, medical teams making their way out onto the circuit. So we do hope all the drivers are okay out there, but there you can see the rest of the field now stationary on the start-finish line. At that point of the race, it was Flusha leading from Sebastian Korpeng. Wojciech Woda was up into third place after gaining 2 places. Hugo Ron from Ella Latama, who was currently P5. George Nassar and Philippe Carras, Maximilian Rafalek and Pip Casabene, with Jakub Mikulev running out the top 10 out on circuit before the red flag came out. Flurry of officials surrounding the driver involved at the entrance of turn number 5. Obviously, we'll get confirmation of the driver involved in a few moments' time. Myself personally unaware of the driver involved. But again, we do hope all is okay. Well, of course, we'll have a brief interlude. The racing will continue in a few moments' time. There is Luna Flusha on your screen. Like we were saying, currently championship leader in this one. Winner of 3 finals out of 4. Certainly the strongest driver going into this weekend. And a pole position as well earlier on. Certainly securing that advantage of being the most popular driver probably out on the circuit. But certainly right now, everything is mainly focused on the driver that is okay. Now, I have had it confirmed to me that it is Hamza Al-Fayez, unfortunately, the driver involved in that incident. We do wish Hamza Al-Fayez is okay in the 246. But right now, of course, everything will be focused on that one and getting everything sorted out ready for a restart that'll be coming very soon. A flurry of officials there keeping an eye on the drivers. Some conversations happening in the mid-pack as well. A look down the order. Some of the drivers who would gain positions in that one. Adam Sador, who gained 9 places, was up into the top 20 before the red flag. The same for Charles Troxler. Also 9 places gained. Romeo Nassar, who didn't have the best qualifying, unfortunately, just jumped up 10 places in this one and is up into P24 before the red flag. There you can see very briefly Wojciech Woda just standing along their side his kart. He's currently 3rd place, gaining 2 places so far in this race. A reminder of championship standings results as well from previous rounds while we wait for this one. Like I say, Luna Flusha taking the win in both finals in the first round in Cremona. Then we headed to Valencia for round 2. Winner of the first final on Saturday. The second one, though, would go to Markus Šilkunas from Lithuania. The likes of Philippe Carras has not yet won a final, came 2nd in the first final in Valencia, though, for Philippe Carras. Gazi Motlaka, currently 4th in the championship standings, has been eluded a final win. Certainly had a good round at Cremona. When the rain was falling at Cremona, we certainly had interesting conditions for drivers, where I think we actually only had 15 drivers out of the 30 that were out there falling down the order. There is our chief scrutineer, Patricia, for the RGMC crew, taking photos of some of the karts there. And those photos, I suspect, will be the front nose cones there. Now, of course, they will be, well, if there's any drops out there, she will take photos of them. Post-race, 5-second time penalty will be added. But I think in this part of the race, I think 5-second time penalties for any drop nose gets added now. And then it goes on to their total race time at the end. Well, we'll see what happens there. Right, drivers being gathered up. I suspect we may be having a quick briefing with our race director, Martin Bean, as, again, we do give our best to Hamza Al-Fayez, who is out on circuit and hopefully is okay. Like I say, the best of medical teams with him at the moment, with some of the best marshals in Italy. Here at probably one of the most modern karting circuits, if not in Europe, in the world itself, built in 2021, officially opening. And like I say, certainly been a very interesting circuit to race at, fast and flowing circuit, very demanding on a driver. But all the way throughout this, certainly we have seen some fabulous races throughout its history, short history, we should say. A brand new hotel as well that was built on the circuit, the apex of the final corner as well. Played host to many events and karting events over its very short life. Well, the officials there doing the final checks on the karts before they get restarted. There you can see all the drivers have now accumulated in the start-finish box, effectively. Marshal post getting into the shade. It is very hot out there. It's 30 degrees already. We are in the middle of the day. It is 12 o'clock local time here. But we're going to take a short ad break. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully we'll be back in a few moments' time with the OKN Senior Qualifying Heat 1.
Racing Spirit was born out of the need to create a clothing line that could embody the passion and the experience that OMP gathered and cultivated working alongside the most successful racing teams of the last 50 years. Racing Spirit garments are made by enthusiasts, for enthusiasts. They can be worn every day in leisure time, but especially on race venues, from the paddock of the hottest Formula One races to the service parks of winter rallies in all weather conditions. Racing Spirit offers a complete range of clothing and accessories for men and women, designed and developed in Italy, combining aesthetics, comfort, and functionality. Because of these features, it is the brand of choice of several prestigious motorsport outfits and organizations. Racing Spirit is the meeting point between high quality and Italian style, as well as the introduction of sustainable materials and innovations, such as the use of graphene. Racing Spirit offering comes with 4 options: cutting-edge designs and customization techniques. Lifestyle is a line of garments ideal for everyday and leisure wear, with refined style and innovative materials. Crew are custom garments of the highest quality that strengthen the visual identity of the team or organization. For instance, the choice of Skoda Motorsport and Dallara. Corporate is a full custom-designed clothing line for sizable organizations, such as Toyota Racing Development. Finally, the teamwear line for maximum creative freedom uses sublimation printing technology derived from OMP's racing experience. Similarly to the other Racing Force Group brands, Racing Spirit shares the same DNA of competing to be the first and ultimately become the reference in the market.
In a world where speed reigns supreme and the race never ends, there exists a breeding ground for the champions of the future. Every turn, every lap, every challenge is a testament to the skill, determination and raw talent of these young racers. They come from all corners of the globe, united by a singular passion to conquer the track and emerge victorious. This is the Champions of the Future Academy program. This easily accessible formula is based off an arrive and drive concept. The championship aims to be as open for as many people from around the world, with the 6-round championship being split across Europe, visiting Italy and Spain, and then a flight around the world to visit the Middle East, visiting Dubai, Al Ain and Al Fassan for the minis, juniors and seniors. As an arrive and drive format, all you'll need to do is bring your race gear and a mechanic with their toolbox, and RGO&C will look after the rest with the championship's many partners. For the minis, Paralins has joined the series for the chassis and TM Cup for the engines. With the juniors and seniors, the drivers will be on the Kart Republic chassis, powered by IAMI, with the OKNJ and the OKN. And that's not all. You'll be provided with awning space, kart trolley with workbench, fuel and tyres, and everything is transported to each event thanks to our logistics partner, DHL. The Champions of the Future Academy program is not just another championship, it's an opportunity. Like so many drivers from around the world, the dream is to race in Formula One, and with the Academy program, that dream is one big step closer. At the season launch in 2023, the Champions Academy saw a record-breaking entry of female participants. This has led to an increase of more than 25% of female drivers for the 2024 season. With the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 Team Junior program being the supporter of the first event, they've already spotted talent and have signed one driver, James Anagnostiidis, to the programme. The Williams Junior F1 programme also signed Sarah Matsuri to their programme and supporting her career. And thanks to our partnership between RGRNC and the Formula One Academy, 9 female drivers, 3 per category, have been selected by the Global Discover Your Drive initiative, which aims to identify new female talent in motorsport. The support from all 3 and more really show this is a genuine detection programme. The space for a future in motorsport is limited, with all 3 categories filling up fast. The only question that remains is, are you a champion of the future?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us for the 3rd round of the Champions of the Future Academy program, we are currently a couple of laps into the OKN Senior Qualifying Heat 1. An unfortunate red flag that was brought out has brought a delay to the proceedings, and the drivers are putting themselves ready for a restart. Unfortunately, Hamza Al-Fayez caught out in an incident on circuit. We do wish him our very best. Unfortunately, now out of this race. Hopefully, we'll see him out later on today. But a big, big shame to see that. The rest of the field, though, is lined up there on the start-finish line. They are ready to get going racing once again. They've had the brief from our race director, Martin Bean. They've had the brief from the rest of the officials out there as well, and some drivers now taking seats into their karts. Luna Flusha, seated at the front of that one, was the leader at the beginning of the race, was pole sitter in time qualifying as well, so she had maintained her leads. She's got the likes of Sebastian Korpeng and Wojciech Woda, who were 2nd and 3rd behind. They are both gainers of position. Hugo Heron dropping to P4, but certainly in a strong position still nevertheless. There's the local time right now. It is 12:15 here in northern Italy, Franciacorta circuit, just outside the city of Milan. And like we were saying, temperature starting to raise out there. 30 degrees C out on circuit. It is a mighty hot day for the drivers to be wrapped up in those race suits and helmets. I can imagine the perspiration is certainly going to be kicking in at this point for the drivers. But like you say, as soon as they get moving again, that should clear up for them. Mechanics have been given the green light to make their way back onto the circuit. Of course, these karts do need a push start, so the mechanics do get that green light to head back out to the track. It's obviously a tense time now because, of course, when you get race karts who have been in this sort of position where they've raced and they've been going at full pace, some don't tend to restart. Some do. They start straight away, but we have had incidents where some karts just don't get going again. They don't like it. They can go flat out, really quick speed, but if they stop, they need to stop for a while. They need to cool down, and then you can restart it properly after an hour or so. If only a short period of time, the engine's still very hot, everything like that, it can be a bit more trickier to get it started. There, though, Luna Flusha's mechanic comes along to get everything ready. A few words of encouragement there at the start of this one. It will be a single file rolling start for this. We were on lap 3 before that red flag did go out. There's the live on-board view from Finnish driver Ella Lattama. As the yellow flag heads out, we'll be under slow procedure for the restart of this one. Single file, as the drivers will get restarted very, very soon. There you can see most of the karts right now have fired up. They're all good. And, well, we'll see what happens with the rest of them as they get themselves going. Some karts being a bit slower to get away there, but it looks like all of them get fired up. Well, that is good to see as the drivers make their way across the start-finish line. Definitely a tense time for the drivers. But there it looks like they're all good. Well, one kart there not going and is pulling into the pit lane. Now, is that Isaac de Melwyk? I think it might be the 216. No, it's not Isaac de Melwyk. Who's that? The 216, not going any further. That is Anastasia Genesis, unfortunately. Oh, that is a big shame. The driver who had some fantastic artwork on the tyres, which you can actually see on that rear tyre, unfortunately, will go no further. Now, they're going to get it onto the trolley. Now, are they going to try and repair something here? I think they are. Now, that's a hammer going to one of the track rods there. So I suspect that may be a slight tracking issue with the car. It's a very unorthodox way to do it. That will be a brief fix, of course, but that won't be the straightest track rod that you'll see out there. So that might make it still a little bit wobbly out there, but certainly will give her the best opportunity to maybe regain some positions there. All the field then, apart from a handful, have restarted this one. They are heading around into the top section of the track. Now there are static yellow flags out there indicating that we are good for a green flag at the end of this lap. Drivers again making their way up the hill now into the highest part of the circuit. It's Flusha, Korpeng, Franciacorta from Heron, Latimer from Nassar, Mikulev from Karas, Rafalek from Casabene, Philippe Karas, that is, from Casabene. Then it's Jean Karas in 11th place from Gazi Motlaka, Marcus Shilkunis in 13th place, ahead of Austin Gale, Charles Lambert from Jeanne Pascal in P16. No real big moves in that one. Charles Trockler was the biggest mover, 11 places gained. Will be restarting this race in P21. Well, welcome back to everyone who's watching from around the world. If you have just tuned in, we have just ended a red flag period. We are about to get back into green racing conditions, though, for the first OKN senior race of the weekend. We are green flag and racing, and it is a good jump for Flusha. It's a better jump, though, for Heron, who tries to dive round the outside through turn 2, but is denied from Franciacorta, who stays there in 3rd place. Defensive will go Flusha. Korpeng might get the switch back here on the exit, but just hasn't got the pace on the exit to get alongside. They stay 1, 2, 3, 4 as they dive their way into the highest part of the circuit. It's all downhill here now as they head through turns 9, 10, into 11, into turns 12 here on the exit as they go into the second lowest part of the circuit of turn 13. Down the 180-meter, back straight, they climb uphill once again into the late braking zone of turn 14, and action in the background there. Lademar has closed in and is trying to go for the moves there, but has stayed in P5. Breakaway here, Flusha and Korpeng, second to none right now, are broken away from the rest of the field and are clear by half a second. Voda was not able to latch on to these two, and he has stayed there in P3. But again, only one change here, only one move from Korpeng. If he can get the move done, might result in the rest of the pack closing in. But Flusha right now, well, once again, like we saw in Cremona, like we saw in Valencia, Luna Flusha here has got some immense pace right now and has broken away by 0.3 of a second alone on this lap. Out of the final corner they go. Back onto the start-finish straight, still Flusha from Korpeng, Voda from Heron, Latimer from Mikulev, Karas from Nassar, Rafalek from Casabene, Motlaka up to P11, out of Austin Gale, Jean Karas in 13th, from Marcus Shilkunis in P14. Changes happening thick and fast throughout the field on this one. And again, the driver's looking quick all the way throughout. Marcus Shilkunis currently purple in Sector 1 on this one as Hugo Heron sets the fastest lap of the race. Earlier on, Franciacorta got through, and he's going to get through again, this time on Sebastian Korpeng, and moves up into second place. Franciacorta now is on a charge here. Can he close into Luna Flusha, though? That is the test, as the gap's 0.4 of a second. Korpeng goes defensive from Heron. That battle's getting close as well as they cross over the line. Latimer under pressure as well from Mikulev. And again, that battle's raging on behind. Mikulev down the inside, gets through into P5. Latimer, after starting well, dropping down the order now. We go on board. We just see there a change further up the grid as we climb up the hill now. And, well, through the inside there, just leaving the door open. Philippe Karas able to squeeze through. There it just shows this track is quite wide. It's difficult to defend here because it is fast, it is flowing. There are so many places to get the overtakes done. And these drivers right now are figuring that out as this weekend goes along. Defensive goes Philippe Karas in towards turn 14, into the hairpin. Through the final corner they go. Flusha leads the way, but confirmation is being closed in here by Franciacorta. This battle for the lead is not over yet. Flusha who has had a near dominant season so far, is now starting to feel the pressure here, because Franciacorta, that gap down to 0.2 of a second. Jean Carras, now the fastest driver out there, 48.888, is starting to close in. There's a look at Franciacorta's results in this one. Cremona, not what we want to see, but Valencia, 28th in the first one. But look at the difference. 4th in the second one. It shows the pace was there. The result, though, was not in Valencia. So for Franciacorta, a very experienced pilot, and right now here at Franciacorta, putting that into work. Now the gap has stayed nearly identical between these top two as they break away. Hugo Heron has started to close back in as well, so we could have a three-car battle for the lead here. But we are on lap 10 of 11, so if Voda's going to do anything here, he needs to think about doing it soon. If Flusha wants to hold on to this one, I think the main thing she needs to do here is stay focused, look ahead, and don't take a defensive line. As soon as you start to take a defensive line and start to look over your shoulder, it gives a green light to the driver behind. They know that you're feeling vulnerable. They know that you're feeling a little bit weaker out there, and they go for the moves. But right now, we're not seeing that from Flusha. We're seeing controlled driving all the way throughout. She's checked over the shoulder now, understandably, because we're going on to the final lap of the race. She wants to see what's happening behind. If we aren't going to see a defensive line, it will be on this lap, as she does go slightly defensive there. On board with Ella Latama, who sees, well, a little bit of contact up ahead there, and yeah, that's not gone well at all, and round going some of the drivers, just tumbling down the order. Eyes on this one. Checker flag is at the ready. We are on to the final lap of this race. Top end of the circuit now. Going in towards the final sector. Sector 3 now as they come down the hill. Hit the apex of turn 13. Down in towards turn 14. Big check over the shoulder. Not close enough, though. Voda's going to have to go defensive to cover off from Hugo Heron. So the first race of the day is going to go the way of Spain's Luna Flusha. She'll be delighted with that one across the line. She takes the win ahead of Franciacorta. Hugo Heron finishes in third place ahead of Jaka Mikelev. Felipe Caras finishes in P5 after a gain of 4 places ahead of Ella Latama. Sebastian Corpeng dropping to P7. George Nassar from Gazi Motlaka. Jean Carras finishing in 10th place. Pip Casabene from Maximilian Rafalek. Austin Gale finishing in 13th ahead of Marcus Shilkunas. Elizaveta Kozlova rounds out the top 15 on circuit. But there, Luna Flusha on your screen. Definitely the result she will have wanted here. That strong performance at the start of the season is carrying on over into round 3. And the first qualifying heat of the day for the senior category ends with Luna Flusha on top, Franciacorta in second, and Hugo Heron in third place. Well, the result they definitely will have wanted. I'm sure smiles all around as the field makes their way back into Parc Ferme. Of course, checks will happen for the drivers. All of this is provisional. There is a look at the top 15 on circuit. We went over that one. Elizaveta Kozlova rounding out that top 15. 6.7 seconds down from the rest of the field. 16th place downwards sees Charles Lambert. Bernardo Benoldi finishing in 17th place after a gain of 8 places. Adam Sudor, 11 places gained, finishes in P18 ahead of Gianna Pascal. Rounding out 19th place, Romeo Nassar finishes in P20, a gain of 14 places. A good result after not a great qualifying. Alessandro Biggie finishes in 21st place ahead of Sophia Samfari. Then it's Peyton Westcott from Isaac Demelweek. Truly Adams from Kasper Bonda. Yana Kapoor and Franciszek Stajelski finishing in 28th place. Charles Trockler rounding out the 29 finishers in that race. Flusha, understandably, cooling off with one of her biggest fans here at the venue. But I'm sure she's got more fans out there as well. The retirements from that race, Anastasia Genesis, unfortunately, Hamza Al-Fayez, who was the driver involved in that red flag earlier on. Again, we do extend our hopes and prayers to Hamza Al-Fayez, who was unfortunately involved in that red flag incident. Charlotte Page and Prix Trevino, Raheem Alabai all retirements at the start of that race. One of the drivers clearly not getting the start that would have wanted straight away. More drivers as well getting kicked off in the background there. The 2:11 dropping. That was Franciacorta, unfortunately, not getting away well. After the restart, green flag came back out. It was a good start for the top four. Franciacorta, Heron and Mikalev breaking away from the rest of the field. They were able to hold on to that one for the majority of it. Close battling between the top two. Flusha and Voda, very close in the early stages, but they would stay line astern. Ella Latama certainly having to deal with the likes of Hugo Heron. She would gain positions early stages, but then would slowly eat back a little bit, but still a very strong result there of P6. That was, again, the other moment that we saw drivers tumbling down. Sebastian Korpeng not getting the exit out of the corner. But Luna Flusha across the line would take her first win of the weekend and kickstart what is said to be, well, hopefully for her, another very strong round. Junior qualifying Heat 4 is coming up very soon. That'll be the next race out on circuit. And that was due to start, well, that's due to start at 1 o'clock, so that's a little bit later on today. The next race that is going to be coming out onto the circuit is the junior one, yes. So that is, we have got a small break in between that. So yes, that is the next race coming out very soon. We will see the second round of those races very soon on. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in half an hour's time for the second round of qualifying heats. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Champions of the Future Academy program. It's round 3 here in Italy at the Franciacorta Karting Track. Year of opening 2021, event record set by Luna Flusha in time qualifying this morning with a 48.140. A very quick time, and she put that into a qualifying heat win earlier on in her first race on track. The circuit itself, though, 160 meters down the main straight. It is 180 meters down the back straight with a total track length of 1,300 meters. Track width 7.5 widens to 11 meters with an elevation change of 5 meters around the circuit. The track itself, though, comprising of 14 turns out on the track. 9 to the right, 5 to the left, plus the 2 hairpins out there. It's a demanding and technical circuit for the drivers to get used to, but there are plenty of places to go overtaking. We've seen the overtakes in towards turns we've seen the in towards turn 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, and turns 13. 13, that final hairpin, being the most popular of overtaking opportunities. It's always sometimes better to be in second place going into that hairpin. Top speed, drivers reaching a staggering 125 kilometers an hour into the braking zone of turn number 1 with an average speed of 84 kilometers an hour around the 1.3 kilometer long circuit. Well, we've had the first stage of qualifying heats. One more stage to go before we go into the lunch break. And, of course, the all-important first round of finals. Myself, Anthony Jordan, in the commentary box will be taking you through the rest of the races today and, of course, throughout tomorrow as well as we near the end of the first part of the weekend. But the next race, OKN Junior qualifying Heat 2. A reminder of what happened earlier on. On track, it would have been James Anagnosianis from Conor Clancy and Victoria Farfus in third, but an unfortunate disqualification because of pushing over the white line. Victoria Farfus dropping right to the back. Vitesse Vitva being promoted to P3. And again, is in a prime position for this one. The grid order for this is exactly the same as what it was for the first qualifying heat earlier on. That is based off timed qualifying that we saw earlier on, and that was led by James Anagnosianis again, putting himself in a really strong position for this one. Of course, he at the moment is current championship leader as the green light starts to flash. The whistle blows and the drivers make their way out onto the circuit. This time it looks like it's all good for Victoria Farfus. Let's take you through the full starting lineup for this one. It is James Anignosianis ahead of Mateus Witwer starting this one on the front row of the grid. Sofia Pavaznaya and Connor Clancy go from row number 2. Victoria Farfus and Dinia Ismov round out row 3. They'll have Leonas Peruzzi and Angelina Simmons on row 4. Flavia Caria and Sujana Dandu round out row number 5. They'll have Egon Prodotti and Savria Dudkovsky on row 6. William Marshall and Anna Pazzuto round out row 7. They'll have Casper Reipold and Vanessa Schilkenate on row 8. Niels Malik and Vida Yuland round out row number 9. Marcel Capella and Sanjana Dandu round out the top 20. They go from row 10. Salamat Sui and Isaac Say round out the top 22 on row 11. Zachariah Dole and Amaru Adrinson round out row 12. They'll have Christian Ebras and Ella Hakkinen on row 13. Kate Aziza and Michaela Hart round out row number 14. They'll have Corinne Kaur and Jan Michalesko on row 15. Toby Gale and Axel Nocom round out top 16 rows. They'll have Emilia Vichemieska and Oscar Gallen on row 17. Konstantin Paps and Clelia Sodu round out the 36-car field out on circuit. Well, the intermediate classifications at the moment as well. Vanessa Schilkenate there has not managed to get going. Where's the white line? There's the white line. They don't push her over, and she's out of this race. They might give her another attempt to get it restarted, but I suspect that's attempt number 2 or maybe even attempt 3 there for Vanessa Schilkenate, and that is a big, big shame. And I'm pretty sure for Vanessa earlier on, that she didn't even start the race. Now, yeah, well, she did have a retirement. She dropped down 15 places, so she did start the race. But I think, yeah, it just wasn't the race for her. So that is 2 really not great results there for Vanessa Schilkenate. And that'll be a weekend or first day of racing to forget. Meanwhile, though, the rest of the field have made their way in towards the final part of the track. Just the kink there before the start-finish line, before we get this race underway. And the lights do go green, and we are racing. And it is a great start for Anignosianis. Once again, that inside row working extremely well as the field breaks away now in towards turns 2, 3, and 4. Down the inside, Victoria Farfus there trying to get down the inside. But Witwer there trying to hold off. But there's the rest of them. It's all gone wrong in the background. Their drivers trying to avoid. And unfortunately, that has resulted in a huge pile up there. So many drivers involved. Capella involved in that one. Corinne Kaur. Axel Nocom again is out in this race. Emilia Vichemieska, Konstantin Paps, and Clelia Sodu, unfortunately, all out of this race. Farfus this time again to the inside. Gets the move done and moves past Sofia Pavaznaya for second place. Marshals are working as quickly as they can. There you can see Pasquale Lupoli as well, the clerk of the course, trying to get involved to help out the incident there. Yellow flags are coming out as the field are heading into that incident mode now. There are waved yellows, so no overtaking is permitted, but there is! And that's exactly what we wanted to avoid. And Sofia Pavaznaya makes contact with one of the stranded carts on circuit. And again, I just think the yellows were not spotted. She throws her hands up in protest, but the yellow flags were clear as day out on the circuit. And Case Aziza again is off the circuit. Another retirement here. And, well, this is not what you want at all. And, well, their cases are livid. And slow procedures come out. Peruzzi is off the circuit. The live on board shows the frustration from the Emirati. He's out of this race. And again, just heartbreaking for the drivers. That is so many retirements in the early stages of this race. The race has been neutralized. We are under slow procedure, but this is absolutely suboptimal. There again, Peruzzi on circuit, and just sheer disappointment for him there. That is heartbreaking, to say the least. So that's Leonas Peruzzi out of the race. Isaac Say out of the race. Case Aziza out. Christian Ebras out. Sofia Pavaznaya out of this race. Dinia Islamov out, Vanessa Schilkenate, Marcel Capella, Corinne Kaur, Axel Nocom, Emilia Vichemieska, Konstantin Paps, and Clelia Sodu all out of this race. This race that started with 36, a full grid, is down to 23 runners at the end of lap number 2. And Peruzzi's still in his kart. He's not even got... He doesn't even want to get out. And, well, that is such a heartbreak for him. He's checking there the karts that are coming around him. How did this all unfold? Right, well, there you can see one of the karts. So there was a spin right at the beginning there. And that, it looks like the 30. Is that Marcel Capella? I think it is Capella. And this is the moment here. And just, well, and that is just not what you want to see at all. And again, this is all under yellow flags. There are yellow flags here. And you've got drivers coming in at full pace, and you can see even more carnage that's unfolding in the background there. Not what you can see. This is what happened to Leonardo Peruzzi live on board. And you can see with the slow procedures out, he's not spotted it. And he locks up the rear axle. As you can see there, you can see there's mechanics at the sideline there, kind of waving to say, slow down, you're under yellow flags, you're under slow procedure. And it wasn't spotted, and Peruzzi locks up the rear axle. There you can see it. Oh, so nearly taking out Matthias Wittfer there. And, well, not what you want to see at all. So many drivers out of this race in the early stages. And, again, as we remain under slow procedure, we still have waved yellows out on circuits. So I believe we are still under yellow flag conditions. We are indeed still under yellow flag conditions. The race has not been restarted just as of yet, as the last of the karts are being cleared away from the incident, the initial incident that happened at turn number 5 at the start of that race. Again, well, those drivers who have retired, of course, not what they want to see at all, but that has helped out a good handful of drivers that managed to get through all of that. Oscar Gallin up into 19th, a gain of 15 places. Michaela Hart, a gain of 12 places into P16. Jan Michalesko up into 15th place, a gain of 15 places. Toby Gale, 17 places gained into P14. Zachariah Dole, 10 places gained, finishing, starting this one at the moment in P13. The same for Sara Matsui, 11 places gained, currently in P10. There, though, the current final standings from James Anagnosiadis over the course of this season. A P4 and a third in Cremona. Valencia was a first and a second. A very strong weekend performance there. But in the junior category, like we were saying, we've had 4 different final winners out of 4. Are we going to get a new set over this one? Green flag waves, we are back and racing, and it is a good getaway for Anagnosiadis from Farfus, but Farfus is right on that rear bumper still. Wittfer under pressure from Clancy. Clancy trying to get back up into 3rd place. This time around is not able to do so. Karian Prodotti still there as well, just behind, have got the pressure. But look at this here, Farfus, Victoria Farfus is piling on the pressure to James Anagnosiadis here. She is not able to get the move done though, just as of yet. She stays behind as they now start to go downhill here into the braking zones of turn at number 11 and 12 through that hairpin. Through turn 13 and down the 180-meter back straight they go into the braking zone. Here comes Farfus down the inside. Has she outbraked herself though? Can Anagnosiadis get the move back? The answer to that is no. And it is the Brazilian Victoria Farfus who leads the way across the line. And it looking very strong here. Runs a little wide on the exit there of turn number 2, but so does Anagnosiadis. Change in the background. Clancy's up into 3rd place. Wittfer as well. Trying to take the outside line as defensive goes Clancy for P3, but they stay the same. But it is Victoria Farfus who leads the way, gaining 4 places. It was a disqualification earlier on due no fault of her own. Just at the start, the initial push-off out of the pre-grid over the white line unfortunately resulted in a disqualification, and she did finish on track P3 in that race. So the on-track results have been absolutely superb for Victoria Farfus, and right now the pace here is looking very, very strong. Over the line they go. We go into the final lap of this race, but now James Anagnosiadis, championship leader, retakes control of this last qualifying heat before their final later on. Goes defensive in towards turn 5. This is where it all kicked off. in the opening lap of the race, but not this time around as Farfus back down the inside through turn number 7 and reclaims the lead. But now again, here comes Alegnosiadis. Once again, they chop and change. They're wheel to wheel throughout this, and that's brought in Clancy. Vitva, Prodrotti, now up into P4, has got past. But here we go, down into the final hairpin. Alegnosiadis hugs that inside line. Farfus follows as well. She might have to settle for P2, or maybe not. It's a run to the line, but it is Alegnosiadis across the line by, well, absolutely nothing. 0.058 of a second across the line for Victoria Farfus. That will be her best result of the championship so far this season for the Brazilian. But James Alegnosiadis controlling this weekend. That is his second qualifying heat win out of 2. He will claim the 25 championship points at the end of this one. The pole sitter, now with 2 qualifying heat wins out of 2, goes into the final in the first heat's day of racing on top. He will start on pole then for that final later on today. He'll have Connor Clancy alongside. Matej Vitva and Egon Prodrotti will round out the second row of the grid. Marshall and Pizzuto will round out the third row. Unfortunately for Victoria Farfus, that disqualification earlier on really dropped her down the order in the intermediate classifications, despite the fact that her pace is good. So we expect a really strong performance later on for Victoria Farfus. We'll have a look at the full classifications in a few moments' time for the rest of the field. But right now, that's exactly what you needed for the top 3. James Alegnosiadis ahead of Victoria Farfus, and Connor Clancy rounding out the top 3 on circuit as well. A mighty, mighty cleanup operation is underway. So many karts stricken on the circuit, and there you can just see it in the background of your screen. There's the full intermediate class, or the provisional classifications at the end of that one. Vitva finishing in P5, Marshall finishing in P6 ahead of Flavio Carrier, Javier Dudkovsky finishing in P8 ahead of Sara Matsui, who gained 12 places to finish in the top 10 in P9. Sujana Dandu finishing in P10, very strong result, ahead of Toby Gales, 20 places gained to finish in P11. Vera Yulin from Enna Pizzuto. Then it's Ella Hakkinen with 12 places gained, finishing in P14. Jan Michelesco finishing in P15 after a gain of 15 places, ahead of Zachariah Dole. Oscar Gallen from Casper Reipold. Nilas Malik from Sanjana Dandu. Amri Adrinsen from Michaela Hart rounds out the 22 finishers in that one. The highlights, first of all, disappointment for Vanessa Schilkenate. Unfortunately, not even starting the race, and there the frustration, as you can imagine, really kicking in before the race even getting away. Start of the race then, lights going out, and initially through turns 1 and 2 all was fine. A little bit of dramatics there in the mid-pack, but the rest of them all getting away relatively well. It kind of kick-started going down into the braking zone of turn number 5. That infield straight is where it really kicked off. Unfortunately, this was Linus Peruzzi in the early stages of this race, and again, good getaway. You can see there some of the marbles flicking off the tyres into this corner here. This is where it went wrong. Drama there, but there was a spin there, and that was, unfortunately for Marcel Capella, his kart stricken in the middle of the track, then caused a concertina effect for the rest of them. The race continued. We weren't under yellow flag, full slow conditions here. We weren't under slow positions, but this moment here, the move down the inside under yellow flag conditions from Victoria Farfus there on Vanessa Schilkenate just forced her into, well, a kart that was stricken on the circuit. Now, again, Vanessa Schilkenate, a really good Victoria Farfus there, a really good result, but again, maybe under a bit of bother. This dramatic moment here for Linus Peruzzi, unfortunately not spotting that we had gone under slow procedure. The drivers in front had slowed down, and just into the braking zone, completely locked the rear axle and sent him into an uncontrollable spin there, and well, just heartbreak for him at this point. This was another angle of it, and just, yeah, absolutely complete loss of control there all by himself. And That is not what you want to see at all. And yeah, understandably, complete frustration at himself in that one, and kind of stayed in the cart for quite some time. Slow period had ended. Green flag racing came back out, and again, Anagnosiadis and Victoria Farfus breaking away at the beginning of that one. But I suspect under review maybe for that race, many of those incidents. Victoria Farfus down the inside, managing to get that move done there as well. Connor Clancy gaining those positions as well. He gained only position of 1 after a good qualifying, pushing his way back up. The first overtake again on that final lap. These two chopping and changing positions all the way throughout that one. The first overtake in towards turn 2 from Anagnosiadis. Victoria Farfus dropping to second place. Later to get the move back at turn number 7. Down the inside, the door was closing, but Farfus finding the way through, getting back up into the race lead. Then into turn number 9 and 10. Back down the inside would go Anagnosiadis, and this time it would be signed, sealed and done to the end. It would be a photo finish though, but Anagnosiadis will take the double win and will start on pole position later on. Victoria Farfus, well, it might be in a spot of bother at the end of that one. Certainly was at the end of the first one, unfortunately disqualified through no fault of her own in the first disqualification. So that was a big shame for her. But that best on-track result once again for Farfus. Clancy finishing in 3rd. Mini 60 coming up next. And again, very interesting race that we saw from the Mini 60s earlier on. The results from those certainly were an interesting one. Qualifying Heat 1 did result in Nicolo Perico taking the race win, gaining 12 places in that race. Bobajov finishing in 2nd from Vicente Capella. Unfortunately, a penalty that would go out to Albert Tam, who did finish 2nd on track, would result in him tumbling down the order, finishing in P18. Big movers in this category earlier on. There you saw on screen your pole sitter from qualifying, Werner Guth, who starts this one on the top spot of the grid. Pole in time qualifying, his first pole of the season. Certainly having a very strong performance this weekend. The result for him, though, earlier on, not what he would have wanted, but still a good result nonetheless. A P7 result. The final hairpin there, the hairpin of many, probably the most, well, feared corner in karting is turn 14 here at Franciacorta. There is Blažej Kostreva starting on the front row of the grid. Again, a good result for him earlier on. Did drop down places, but still finished in the top 4. 1.3 seconds down from the race leader at the end of that one, but still a very strong round of heats he has had over the course of this season, and of course over the finals as well. P6 Cremona was his best, but Valencia 13th and a 9th, a little bit off the pace there, but here turns to be back on pace in Italy at the Franciacorta circuit. Seems to be a fan of it now, pointing to his pedal there, chatting away to his mechanic, just saying something, maybe just check that, make sure it's all good before we head out into this track. Starting on the second row of the grid, Maxim Bobajov, again, good result for him earlier on after that penalty for Albert Tam promoted him to 2nd in that race. So a good chunk of 44 intermediate classification points to his name. There is his final results as well for Maxim Bobajov. Again, waiting for that first final win, but the 2nd in both of the heats finals in Valencia, certainly putting him in a strong performance for this one. Connor Clancy starting on alongside on that 2nd row of the grid. No, that's a complete lie. He's not. He was in the juniors. It's Mark Martin Lormet starting alongside Maxim Bobajov. Mark Martin, good result earlier, well, good race earlier on at the early stages. He got right up there into the race lead, was battling away with these top runners, and an unfortunate incident out on circuit would tumble him down the order, unfortunately, and he would finish in P28. But certainly showed that his pace is strong here. Just needs to get that one all together in these races. But certainly a driver that this field needs to worry about. I'm sure his pace very, very strong out there. Well, Just behind as well, Juan Garciase from Mexico, another driver who was very strong in the early stages of that race. There he is on your screen in the 8:42. And again, keep an eye on Juan Garciase. It did drop down to P10, but again, that's just that final corner. His race pace was good. He led the race earlier on for a lap or so, a few corners as well. But again, that turn 14, that hairpin, that penultimate corner, playing absolute havoc, and unfortunately it was the same for himself as well. Out on that one, he will have the likes of Alessandro Truchot starting alongside Truchot, who is 5th in the championship standings, as well as a driver who, wasn't at Valencia, was at Cremona, won a final at Cremona, took a break from that one, so we're certainly down in the points, but certainly not out of this championship. And back here now at Italy, into the Franciacorta circuit. Great to see him back. There he is on your screen, the 814, getting himself ready for this one. Great to see Truchot back in the paddock after missing him from Valencia. Starting this one, P6 on track. Certainly a very good qualifying. Hopefully we see Truchot making his appearance out in the UAE. Of course, we head to Dubai for the next, then to Alain and Al Fassan to round out the championship the same week as the final of the Formula One Championship that will be there as well. There on your screen, just a little further down, Lorenzo Zucchetto, the driver from Switzerland, starting this one on the 4th row of the grid. Lorenzo Zucchetto, who didn't have the best results in the final in Cremona. A little bit better in the first final in Valencia. P7 is his best final result. Again, be looking to see if he can excel on that one. He starts P7 in this one. And for him, he's focusing on going forward in this race. Zucchetto did finish P8 earlier on, so again, was just that chop and change in the pack, but certainly it was a very dramatic race earlier on. So many drivers gaining positions. Like we were saying, Perico, who took the win earlier on, finished in P1, had the 12 places gained. There is Jay Kostecki, the Australian, in the 8:47, getting himself focused and ready. Like I say, it's still warm out there. Air temperature now up to 32 degrees. While they sit there stationary in those race suits, gloves, boots, neck braces, helmets. Can imagine it's pretty warm underneath those helmets. Everyone ducking into the shade as well. There you can see some representatives from the Paralin brand. Of course, Paralin, the provider of the chassis this weekend and for this season. Of course, all the drivers in the mini category running on the Paralin Opportunity chassis. There is Augustine Felagoni starting this one a little further down. There's the results on screen. Cremona was a good run. 7th in the first final, 8th in the second, 10th and then 8th at Valencia. Looking to better those in this one, but still, best result of P7 in the final is a very strong and good result. Now, this race is due to start at around 1:20. That was 3 minutes ago, so we are a little bit behind schedule, but that understandable. A lengthy clean-up operation at the end of that one. They are just clearing away the last of the carts that were stricken at the penultimate turn, turn 14. Moments away from getting this one sorted out. There is Albert Tam. Now, Tam certainly having a struggle on this one. Finished on track 2nd earlier on. An unfortunate post-race penalty dropping him down to P18. But there you can see his results. Strong results in the final, won the first final at Cremona, 3rd in his second, then 3rd in Valencia as well. Sits very strong in the championship standings, 2nd in the points, is only a few points behind Priam Bruno. Bruno, though, who will have outscored him in the points earlier on, as he did gain positions earlier on, did Priam Bruno. The qualifying wasn't for him. Priam Bruno had to gain 17 places to finish P6 earlier on. Cleanup operation is over. Engines fire up, and we are ready to go for the second and last qualifying heat for the Mini X30 category. Let's take you through the starting lineup. It is Werner Goff and Blažej Kostreva on row number 1. Maxim Bobajov and Marc-Martin Lormet on row number 2. Juan Gafiace and Alessandro Truchot on row 3. They'll have Lorenzo Zucchetto and Jay Kostecki on row 4. Augustine Falagoni and Albert Tam round out row 5, and the top 10, they'll have Lorenzo Vallejo from Portugal and Gilles Houvet on row 6. Nicolo Perico and Achilles Peruzzi round out row 7. They'll have Ava Lawrence and Alexander Gillot on row 8. Antonio Irani and Oscar Henok round out row 9. They'll have Sebastian Kurz and Ari Kallenberg on row 10. Jan Gozielik and Giovanni Dazzani Jr. round out row 11. They'll have Brian Bruno and Sophie Guff on row 12. Vincente Capella and Luca Mezzalon round out row 13. Henry King and Lucas Palacio round out row 14. Elis Boulier and Ray Haber round out row 15. They'll have Theodore Constantinou and Maddox Mason on row 16. Aaron Mason and Lena Salamanca round out the 34-strong grid in the Mini 60 category for qualifying Heat 2. Looks like all the drivers have made it out onto the circuit. The flurry of the under-10s are out there as well, and if you are watching on the live timing at home, you can do so. If you haven't got the live timing, you do want to watch it. If you head to the Champions Karting Academy website, if you type that in on Google, you will find that very promptly. Head to live timing, and you'll find yourself with the live timing out there. Now, you've just seen their drivers. I'm wondering if we can see a replay of that one. I asked very kindly to Production True to quickly go back at some point to look at that red line moment there that we just saw. Did we see drivers overtaking after that red line to get themselves in position? If they did, that is a big no-no, and they may see the stewards at the end of this one. We go green, we go racing, and Werner Goff gets the getaway and breaks away at the start of that race. It all closes up on the inside. This driver's going very slowly. The 823, Lorenzo Zucchetto, getting swamped by the pack. His kart just has not got the pace, and he's tumbled down the order. Out and broken at the side is the 830 of Jan Gozielik, unfortunately, who's going to have to try and get this restarted. There's another kart off the track there. I cannot see the number. There is Jan Gozielik. He is not allowed to get assistance from the marshals. If he does, he's out of this race. And I think now, as he's trying his level best to get it off the grass, he just can't, and he's out of this race. Jan Gozielik, unfortunately, the first retirement of this one. We'll have to see who was involved in that incident earlier on as well, who tumbled down the order. Back at the front here, though, all chopping and changing, as it looks to me here. Who leads the way? It looks like it is Maxim Bobajov who leads the way across the line. Marc-Martin Lormet, they're in second place. Gafiace is third. Werner Goff is in fourth, but having to battle with Blažej Kostreva. Now Werner is saying to Kostreva just behind, right, please work with me here. Let's try and close in. The top three have broken away. And in the Mini 60 category, a group of three breaking away is very possible. We have seen it time in, time out in the Mini category that you do get a train start to form. Unfortunately, for Werner Goff, Kostreva's going to go for the move. For Kostreva, he gains up into P4. He wants to lead that second group. But again, they need to think now because they're losing touch with the three up ahead. The gap is up to 0.5 of a second. But if they start battling here, which they do, we could see that gap close in very soon. Bobajov still leads, but Lormetz was all over the rear bumper there and now dives to the inside. Gafiace goes through as well. And now Bobajov is back down to third. Good is back up into P4 as well. Perico's gone through, Falagoni's gone through. Blažej Kostreva dropped to P8 into that final hairpin, so not sure what happened between those two, but clearly fireworks between the two drivers. But and still now Perico up into P4 now as he tries to battle his way through. 9 places Perico has gained. He won the race earlier on, and he's trying to go through. Right, okay, here's the replay of the start.
8, 2, 3, red line, Martin, and maybe the leader,
Well, 8-2-3, and maybe even the front row of Blažej Kostreva as well, trying to get back through. You saw it was a very, very late move there, and, well, they might have to see that one again because they'll have cameras all over the circuit to make sure that there is no infringements from that. Race control clearly spotting it. Right, it is our man in the front, his first appearance in the championship, in the series, Marc-Martin Lourmetz, who leads the way at the moment, ahead of Juan Garciace. Those two not changing positions so far on this lap, but look at this, they brought everyone back into play here, and look at this, Nicolo Perico back down the inside, gets up into third place past Bobrajov. Perico, the winner of the race earlier on, his pace this weekend has been absolutely phenomenal. At this point so far in the first day of qualifying heats, he is looking to start on pole position for the final later on today, and at the moment, he is doing that. 91 points to his name. He leads the intermediate classifications ahead of Maxim Bobrajov. Juan Garciace is third, Werner Guth fourth, Kostreva fifth from Lourmetz. Then it's Priya Bruno and Vicente Capella who round out the top 8 in the intermediate classification. Albert Tam, fastest driver out on circuit, is trying to close in. The 8-1-2 up into 7th place. Again, he finished second earlier on, so he knows he's got the pace in this one. He just suffered from that post-race penalty. Eyes on this one here. Well, Marc-Martin Lourmetz is breaking away here from the rest of the field as Perico dives down the inside of Juan Garciace. Werner Guth is retaliating as well. He's back up into P4. He's trying to close in on these three here. But again, they chop and change. The closing distance there for Perico on Lourmetz was undeniable there. Right into the rear bumper, into the braking zone of turn 2. Pushing his way forward here. But Marc-Martin Lourmetz pushing his way along here, not taking a defensive line. That may come at a cost though, because Perico goes to the inside through turn 9, and through goes Juan Garciace. He's going to retaliate, and there's a little bit of contact between the two of them that puts him into the crosshairs of Werner Guth, Albert Tam, and Augustin Felagoni, who are going to try and go for the move down the inside. The train forms. Guth goes through. Oh, and more contact. And it's a carbon copy of earlier on, but this time at a different corner. And down goes in the order. Marc-Martin Lourmetz is down to P12 on the penultimate lap of the race. We go on to the final lap now. And again, it's Nicolo Perico who leads the way, but he's got the company of the Mexican. He has got Juan Garciace all over that rear bumper. Here comes the pole sitter from qualifying. Werner Guth back on that rear bumper, but is under pressure from Felagoni. They go wheel to wheel for third place as Felagoni goes through into P3. Garciace is not in a position to attack right now, but we're going into the feared and dramatic turn 14, the hairpin, the most feared corner in karting. And again, the inside line, defensive from Perico. Garciace follows. Down the inside, though, it's a big move from Alessandro Truchot, who's trying to battle back in this one, and he does. He gets up to third, but again, wheel to wheel across the line. It is Nicolo Perico once again. Another qualifying heat win by 0.016 of a second ahead of Juan Garciace of Mexico. Truchot finishes in third place. That's exactly what Truchot wanted. Getting confirmation that Albert Tam as well on that last lap, the 8-1-2, the warning flag came out. Unfortunately comes with an undisputable 5-second time penalty. Unfortunately for Albert Tam, that is another penalty in a qualifying heat. He will tumble down that order, unfortunately, post-race. Perico, though, takes the win. Another 12 places gained. Can anyone stop this young Italian? Well, they'll make their way back into Parc Ferme. And, well, there you can see Albert Tam going into Parc Ferme, and he's looking up at the balcony there and pointing, saying, what was that for? Well, I'm sure he'll want to make his feelings known, but there, I'm sure the feelings will be very well known. Nicolo Perico, what can you say? 2 out of 2, a superb performance. Juan Garciase finishing in second, Alessandro Tuchot finishing in 3rd place. Exactly the result he will have wanted. 3 places gained, the same as Garciase. Augustine Feligoni finishing in P4, gains 5 places. Werner Guth finishing P5. A better result this time around. Still down from pole position, but certainly a strong performance. See what will happen in that final. Maxim Bobrikov dropping to P6. Unfortunately, Albert Tam finishing at P7. 5-second time penalty, though, will tumble him down the order. Brian Bruno again with a really good race. 15 places gained. Finishes in P8. Xi Huafei finishes in 9th place after gaining 3 places ahead of Blaže Kostreva, who rounds out the top 10. Lorenzo Bilal finishes in P11 ahead of Marc-Martin Lormetz, unfortunately dropping to P12. Luca Musalon finishes in 13th place after gaining 13 places ahead of Antonio Ione there as well, gaining positions, finishing in P14 ahead of Jay Kostecki in the top 15. There on your screen, though, Nicolo Perico making his way back into Parc Ferme. Of course, everyone will have to be weighed, checked over, make sure everything is above board. Now, look at the start here. Now, did Blaže Kostreva overtake after that red line? Oh, I think well, I don't know. That is as close as you can make it there. As close as you can make it. That was super risky. We'd need to see that back frame by frame to see if he just got past in that one, but certainly very close. For one driver, though, definitely didn't. There was the start of the race, and unfortunately for one of the drivers, just tumbling down a little bit, getting caught out in a sandwich, the 823 dropping down for Lorenzo Zucchetto. Not the start he would have wanted. Jan Garzielek, unfortunately, retirement in the start of that race. Heavy damage to that rear bumper, and a big moment there off the track. Now, one driver getting squeezed out onto the exit curb. Not sure who that was. Drivers who tumbled down the order in that race. Ava Lawrence, Ari Kallenberg dropping down. Oscar Hennock, Achilles Peruzzi, all dropping down a fair chunk of places. Could have been either one of those drivers, but completely unsure, couldn't see the kart number. Race continuing, though, and there was a 3-kart breakaway at the start of that race. And again, all of them chopping and changing. Again, you're seeing the fantastic starts here and the pace from Marc-Martin Lormetz getting into the lead, breaking away a little bit from the rest as well. This brought in the likes of Nicolo Perico again. He was able to claim those positions back. Bobrikov tumbling down the order a bit. This was Perico's move on Garciase. He would fight his way back as well. There as well, Werner Guth just trying to squeeze his way down the inside. It wouldn't happen. That was the train going through. This was the start of the dramatics, unfortunately, for Marc-Martin dropping down the order, and not what he wanted at all. This was it here. So you can see the inside line definitely going the way of Werner Guth. And there you can see, well, there the contact. Albert Tam there trying to squeeze his way through the contact, unfortunately squeezing Marc-Martin Lormetz off the track, and I think that's what resulted in that warning flag. But again, don't take my word for gospel. That is all provisional, of course. Across the start-finish line, though, very, very close, but it would go the way of Nicolo Perico. 100 points. Here it is again, frame by frame. Now, did Blaže Kostreva overtake over that red line? Oh, that is as close as you can get it. The back of the kart's not past him, but the front and the 3/4 of it was definitely past. I don't make the rules on that one. The stewards will, race control will, but that was a very close shave for the driver who started on the front row of that grid. One more qualifying heat to go for the day, and it is the senior category that is coming up next. Now, we saw earlier on in the seniors, Luna Flusha taking the win. Certainly a very tough race in that one. Qualifying heat 1 resulting in Flusha taking the win ahead of Wojciech Woda. Hugo Heron finishing in 3rd place ahead of Jakub Mikalev, and Philippe Caras rounding out the top 5. Flusha flag to flag in that race. There was a red flag in that race. Unfortunately, driver involved in that one, Hamza Al Fayez, the driver of the 246, unfortunately out of that race. I did hear reports that he was okay, which is good to hear, but I am not sure if he is out in this race. We will see. If he is, that is fair play to Hamza Al Fayez as he tries to battle his way. If not, it's completely understandable. If not, as the drivers make their way out onto the circuit, let's take you through the starting lineup for OKN Senior qualifying heat 2. It's Luna Flusha from Hugo Heron on row 1, Sebastian Korpeng and Ella Latema on row 2. Wojciech Woda and George Nassar round out row 3. They'll have Jakub Mikalev and Maximilian Rafalik on row 4. Philippe Caras and Pip Casabene round out row 5. They'll have Jean Caras and Hamza Al Fayez, who would have been starting on the 6th row of the grid. And I can confirm that he has not crossed the timing beam on the exit of the pit lane. Hamza Al Fayez not taking part in this one. We do hope he is okay. Marcus Shilkunis and Austin Gale go from row number 7. Charles Lambert and Gianni Pascal round out row number 8. Gazi Mollica and Sofia Sanfari round out row 9. They'll have Peyton Westcott and Elizaveta Kozlova rounding out the top 20 on row 10. Charlotte Page and Franciacorta Karting round out row 11. They'll have Prix Trevino and Alessandro Biggie on row 12. Bernardo Bonaldi and Anastasia Gerasic on row 13. They'll have the likes of Rahim Alabai and Yana Kapoor on row 14. Adam Sador and Isaac Demelwi go from row 15 and round out the top 30. Casper Bonda and Charles Troxler round out row 16. Truly Adams and Romeo Nassar round out the 33 kart grid, with, of course, the non-starter of Hamza Al Fayez. And again, we do pass on our best regards to Hamza. Hopefully we see him out in the final later on today or hopefully tomorrow. Drivers making their way past the red line. Now from here, no overtaking is permitted. You can get yourself into your starting slot. If you're already in position, that is. You can get alongside your driver, but you're not allowed to overtake anyone. Drivers make their way around into the final corner. Looks good at the front here. Are we going for the first time of asking? The answer to that is yes. And it again is a great getaway for Flusha and the inside row. Korpeng, Woda and Mikalev all go through. Head on, has to settle for, I think, P4. Now, maybe even P5 as he tries to battle his way back through this field. Down in towards turn number 5. It all kicked off here earlier on for many. Is it going to kick off for more here? Yes, it is. Dust getting kicked up in the background there. One driver off the circuit. It looks like it's the 226. Unfortunately, that's gone off the circuit. That is Sofia Sanfari. So she will not be delighted with that one at all. She tumbles to the back of the grid. Racing continuing at the front. Big late lunge there down the inside. And that, I believe, is the likes of maybe George Nassar and Letema trying to gain through. It is Jakub Mikalev who's up into 3rd place, who got on into 4th. Change for the lead, though. Sebastian Korpeng down the inside of Flusha in towards turns 2 and 3. Now takes the lead of this race. Luna Flusha, who won the qualifying heat earlier on, who has won 3 finals out of 4 so far this season, is under pressure and is now down to 2nd place. They have got a gap, though, from the drivers behind. Head on there in 3rd. Still has Philippe Caras accompanying. Mikalev 5th. Voda's down to 6th place. Rafalik 7th. Caras, Jean Caras, that is, in the treble 2, is there in 8th place ahead of Latema, who's 9th. Shilkunis currently rounding out the top 10. On board with Wojciech Woda as he makes his way across the start-finish line. We go on to lap 3. 2 laps completed for the field here. You can see how wide the circuit opens up there through turns 2 and 3. Tightens just a little bit here into the pinch point. It's going to look to the inside, and so is Luna Flusha. Down the inside, that is a risky move through turn number 5, but she makes it work. and is back up into the race lead here. Head On has closed in on Korpeng, and now Korpeng has to think about defending now and not re-attacking on Luna Flusha. Drama has involved in the background. I'm seeing carts off left, right and centre at turn number 5. Who is involved there as a big send down the inside for Hugo Head On, and we are under slow procedure, and that is the reason why so many drivers off the circuit. And it looks to me like Gianna Pascal is one, Raheem Alabai is one, Alessandro Biggie, Peyton Westcott, Isaac de Melweek and Romeo Nassar, I think, are all off the circuit there. It looks like Prix Trevino as well, Adam Sador also. But there you can see, and well, it looks to me like a heavy impact with the barriers there. The barriers really dented in at one point of it. So the race has been neutralized, and the cart's very unceremoniously being dragged off the circuit. That is the kart of Raheem Alabai, the American driver, joining us for the first time in the Champions of the Future Academy program. We saw him race out last time around in another championship in Sweden, but certainly in the Champions of the Future. But we'll see what he can do in this one. But so far in his both races have resulted in retirement, so not what he wants to see in this one. So race neutralized. We are under slow procedure, and at the moment, as we go on to lap 5, Luna Flusha is the leader of this one. Head On, Korpeng, Linus Stern still there, Karas, Voda, Mikalev, Jean Karas still running at the top 7. Ella Hatama in 8th, Rafalek in 9th, Marcus Shilkuna still running out the top 10. Drivers will aim to keep temperature into the tyres. Air temperature still 32 degrees. I can imagine the track temperature is sizably warmer than that. But again, these drivers right now just needing to focus. Now, flags at the moment have gone static, indicating that we could be going this time around as the field gets bunched up now. Flusha needing the ultimate getaway here to see if we can get started, and she doesn't get the getaway. There's contact and they slow down. We're under green flag and racing, but Flusha was still warming tyres. We are green flag, we are racing, but Flusha wasn't ready for that at all. She thought she was still under yellows, but amazingly, she holds on to the lead here. And well, that was very lucky. That didn't bunch the rest of the pack up, and we had another incident, but all the field gets away, and Flusha, amazingly, gets a gap from that, gaining now 0.3 of a second from the likes of Hugo Head On, who's under pressure from Korpeng. Kana's still there in P4, as they're trying to just break away now and try and close back into Flusha, who has broken away. We're on lap 6 of 11. This is on board with Wojciech Woda. You can see the train up ahead, sideways under braking the inside line. On the outside line there, you can see the 218. Now, who is that just behind Wojciech Woda in the time screen? That's Charlotte Page trying to go for the move. This was the view. There you can see, well, yeah, just the chopping and changing. Everyone closing in. Wow, big moment there. That was super lucky. That was super lucky there for Philippe Caris. He was nearly completely rotated there, and there, unfortunately, for Wojciech Woda, his pace just gone, and he tumbled him down the order. So, yeah, there was dramatics in the background there because of that. But Flusha continues to lead the way as Head On, and the likes of Korpeng still second and third. Korpeng to the inside, down the inside, through turn 14, gets his way through, moves up into now third place. Or was that Caris? It was, sorry, that was Jean Caris moving up into third place. Korpeng now down to 4th. So Head On still there in second, trying to close in on Luna Flusha. The gap has closed down, and there's more drama off the track. Maximilian Rafalek off the circuit, as well as Jakub Mikalev. Unfortunately, both drivers off the circuit and out of this race. And again, I can imagine there may not be a friendly conversation between those two as they head to the marshal post. But certainly, that has been another very dramatic race in this one. So many retirements in this senior category. Back over the start-finish line here, though. The gap is down to 1/10 of a second. Luna Flusha is once again under pressure, but this time in the form of Hugo Heron and not Sebastian Korpeng. Korpeng is down in P4 at the moment, and this is Hugo Heron, who started on the front row of the grid. Remember that. Second in time qualifying. Knows he's got the pace here. Certainly putting into play. He's dropped off a little bit now. Back down to 2/10 of a second. In fact, goes down to 3/10 now, so clearly is strong in this final sector. Struggling in sector 1 and 2. You see there, closes in again into the hairpin. That concertina effect, though, does play tricks on the drivers, but there you go, look at that. Sizably faster in sector 3. In that alone, that is superb there from Hugo Heron. The gap back down to 1/10 of a second as it opened up into sector 3 to 3/10. So we'll keep an eye on this one, but we're on lap 10 of 11 at the moment, but the last lap board will be out this time. Heron needs to dig deep here if he wants to try and gain those places. Flusha at the moment, though, with the double points, doesn't need to worry about Hugo Heron, because a drop to second here won't affect her too much. She's still got 100 points to her name. She's looking to start on pole position here is Luna Flusha. Back with Wojciech Woda, who's got a sizable bit of real estate between himself and the likes of Gazi Motlaka in P12, just ahead. You can see there, that battle raging on just in front. Motlaka looking to the inside of Ella Ladtama, Charles Lambert there as well. Pip Casabene, Philippe Callas, Marcus Shilkunas, who's now back down to 8th place. We're on the final lap of this race here, and Flusha controlling that gap is 2/10 of a second. But remember, Heron is faster in the second half of this lap and is closing in again. Check over the shoulder, Flusha in control here and is looking strong. She is in line to start on pole for that final later on today. The final check over the shoulder into the hairpin, but no attack from Hugo Heron. She can be comfortable as she exits out of the final corner. It is Luna Flusha once again on top in the qualifying heats. She gets maximum points as she heads into the final later today. It's pole in qualifying, 2 qualifying heat wins, and now a pole position start for that final later on today. Heron finishing in 2nd place will start alongside Luna Flusha on the front row. Sebastian Korpeng will start on the 2nd row in P3. Wojciech Woda will start alongside Sebastian Korpeng on row number 2 in that final later on today. Philippe Callas and Jean Callas, the brothers, will round out row number 3 for that final. But again, all of that is provisional, of course, pending any post-race results and, of course, scrutineering. Well, drivers make their way back into Parc Ferme. Confirmation, Luna Flusha taking the win ahead of Hugo Heron and Jean Callas, who rounds out the top 3. We'll see those 3 out in the final later on, right at the sharp end of the order, as well with Sebastian Korpeng and Wojciech Woda. Philippe Callas as well will start alongside Jean Callas and finish that one in 3rd place. There's a look at the results. Korpeng finishing a P4 ahead of Nassar. Then it's Gale from Callas, Casabene from Shilkunas, Lambert from Woda, Motlaka from Latama, Kozlova from Sajelski, who rounds out the top 15. Biggest mover in the top 15 would be Sajelski, gaining 7 places. Charlotte Page finishing in 16th place after gaining 5 ahead of Sofia Sanfari, who managed to recover back to 17th place after going off the track in the early stages. Bernardo Bonaldi finishing in 18th place after gaining 7 places. Casper Bonda gaining 12, the same as Charles Trockler, and Truly Adams, all of them gaining 12 places to finish 19th, 20th, and 21st. Yana Kapoor and Anastasia Genesis rounds out the 23 finishers. The retirements in that race, well, again, there were many. Mikalev, Rafalik, Ravino, Sador, Pascal Alabai from Biggie, Westcott from Demelweek, Nassar, and of course the non-starter from Hamza Al-Fayez. A look at the start of that race, the highlights on board with Wojciech Woda at the start of that one. immediately sweeping to the inside there to try and get the optimal line through turn number 1. Stays on the inside through turns 2 and 3, and you can see holds on to third place at the start of that one, is able to take the apex with the first left-hander down the inside. Only one driver unfortunately getting squeezed out to the runoff there. Unfortunately, Sofia Sanfari was able to keep going, but that'll be heavy damage to the under tray of that chassis. That exit curb at the exit of turn 5, certainly very harsh. You end up skateboarding over the curb effectively on the exit of that one. The first change of the lead here, and it would come in the form of Sebastian Korpeng in the early stages. He would get through and would battle right to the front at the exit of the second lap. Wojciech Woda again at this point tumbling down the order. Quickly responding, though, would be Flusha. Straight back down the inside on the next lap would deny Korpeng any chance of breaking away in that early stages. Then it all started to kick off just that little bit into turn number 5, as again we saw the moves coming in thick and fast. This was head-on, getting back down the inside of Korpeng. This incident here, this unfortunately brought out the slow procedure, the yellow flag out around the entirety, and then the restart here. Well, Flusha continuing to warm the tyres up, but it had gone green. Everyone else behind was ready to go. Flusha not going, unsure if that was, you know, like thinking, I'm going to wait to the start-finish line to accelerate. I'm going to keep everyone bunched up, but in doing so, well, that forced everyone to really concertina up there, and unfortunately for Wojciech Woda, he would tumble down the order there after contact with another. More retirements, though, near the end of that one. Maximilian Rafalik and Jakub Mikalev, unfortunately, coming together at turn number 2. Again, Marshall's quickly on the scene. Wojciech Woda again live on board there as he's trying to get through. But it would go the way of Luna Flusha. Exactly what she needed. That is 2 wins out of 2, plus that pole position. She starts on pole for that final later on today. And those finals will be coming up very, very soon in around an hour's time, kick-starting with the junior final, then the minis, then the seniors, and then the podiums rounding out the day. But don't worry, that's not the end of the weekend, because the day that we've had today gets completely repeated tomorrow on Sunday, where we have time qualifying, which sorts out the grids for the qualifying heats, and then again, 3 finals for the drivers tomorrow. But we are going to take a short break. Do not go anywhere. If you're watching on YouTube, your stream will end now. There'll be a brand new stream for the finals later on. If you're watching on any other social platform, your stream is uninterrupted. But we'll see you in an hour's time for the finals here for round 3, the Champions of the Future Academy program in Italy.